Hello, everybody. This is Hondo Carpenter, your Las Vegas Raiders beat writer on SI and the host of the Las Vegas Raiders Insider Podcast. Hope that you had a blessed and wonderful weekend. We certainly did. A lot of work, but it was a great weekend. I am joined again today by my beautiful wife, who joins me once a week to read your questions and we dig into all of your questions. And remember, if you want to email me, you can email me at SpartanNationMail, MAIL at yahoo.com. Put in the subject line, Raiders question. Now, what happens is we have somebody who literally goes through, we have people go through, and because we get so much email, cannot read it all. And if there seems to be several emails on a certain topic, they usually go with the first one that comes in, or maybe if one is written better than others, maybe that one. But we try to answer as many of your questions as we can, but you can only email us once a week per email address. Now, I'm told, because I'll have people tell us when they see Shannon and I email, it's like you don't even read it anymore. And probably it's because you've emailed more than once a week. So if that happens, you just go to the spam file and you get thrown out, because you're not thrown out, but you just go to the spam file because we get so much. We want to be able to read it, but please make sure once a week. All right, Shannon, we got a bunch. You ready to go?
I'm ready. Let's hit it.
By the way, it's good to have you here. Thank you for
Thank
joining
you.
us. Okay.
Fun to be here. All right. Tio Hondo, Tia Shannon.
Wait,
And
wait.
I recently learned that's Uncle Hondo.
By the way, I forgot something. Remember Joaquin the guy that
Joaquin.
Okay, yes.
Uh-huh.
So someone emailed me and said that was
Tio.
yeah, they said, do you Tio and Tia means aunt and uncle.
Mm-hmm.
And do you remember the famous pitcher Joaquin Andujar? So it's Joaquin. So I'm sorry about that. Okay, let's keep
Here
going.
we go. Tia Hondo, Tia Shannon. My name is Raul. And what Raul.
Raul.
Mhm.
Okay, Raul.
And what I am about to say is a true compliment, and I hope that you take it as one.
Oh, when someone says here comes a compliment, that probably means it's not, but okay.
You are the whitest people in the world. Is that a compliment?
No. Let's wait and see. Let's read the rest of it.
And I love it. I laugh so much, and I am grateful that you don't try to be what you aren't. Please don't change. We won't.
I don't get this, but keep going.
This is hilarious. My question is, what would you think of each NFL team playing one home game a year in a foreign country? It would mean 2 games in another country every year. I think it would be a great help to expanding the reach of the NFL. Adios, familia. Raul.
I think adios means goodbye.
Yeah.
And familia, I'm assuming, means
Family.
Okay. Couple of things about that. I don't like the idea at all. And I'm going to share with you why. The NFL, I love the idea of them wanting to branch out. I know that the players don't like that idea. I mean, going and playing one game maybe, but I'll give you an example. In baseball, it's extremely, and same within hockey, um, because the tax rates in Canada are so much higher.
Mm-hmm.
Players, I like one player said to me, I'd rather play in California, which has the worst taxes, than play in Canada. A baseball player, a friend of ours, a Major League Baseball player, was a friend of ours. So, and that's number one. Number two is then you cost teams that have home field advantage, home field advantage. And teams in American cities rely on that revenue.
Right.
That brings millions of dollars into those hotels and restaurants and party stores and all the local businesses, all the Airbnbs. And I don't mind them doing some games there, but it would not, I think it would be detrimental to the NFL to do that. Very detrimental.
I understand why you would want it, though.
Oh, if I'm in a foreign country, I'd love it.
For sure.
Yeah, I'd love it. But when you are a city like Las Vegas, where the state and city came together to pay for that stadium,
right?
You need that revenue to pay for it. That shouldn't be on the locals.
Right.
And you and I know tons of people in Vegas who
For sure.
rely on football
Mhm.
weekends. Now, there's always something going on in Vegas, but
Yeah, but still.
those are huge weekends. How many people ask, can we stay with you guys when we come to Vegas?
Well, yes, but also how many hotels have bought the tickets?
Mhm. Yeah,
So, yeah,
I love the idea in principle. It's like a lot of ideas.
right.
Sounds great,
But is it
but there's the rule
necessarily
of unintended consequences.
for sure?
Yeah.
For sure. Great question, Mo.
Right. What that was Raul.
Mhm.
Raul.
Raul, Raul, probably.
Raul. Thank you.
All right, next. I just wanted to say thank you for talking about your faith and always adding in anecdotes about God and being a good husband and father. I'm a huge Raiders fan, but since you also share your faith and family stories, my wife has actually started watching with me. Great. She's even gone as far to have one of your quotes printed about being a forgiving spouse. You are amazing. Now, as a 40-year Raiders fan, I've seen it all. My question,
He
yeah,
really
you
has.
really have.
Yes.
Um, my question is, do you see the team exploring the trade market for a coverage linebacker or putting a heavy emphasis on the position in next year's draft? I can see this being a wonderful problem during the season and ruining another holiday. Thank you, Christian Zerwinski from Rome, New York. Oh, by the way, go Sparty, go green.
Go white.
Amen.
Anytime someone says go green to you and you don't say go white, you know they're not a real fan. We were somewhere. I think we were in your.
Air,
I think we were. Was it airport or we were?
well, this happens to us in the airport all the time.
But we saw somebody wearing a Michigan State shirt, and I'm like, "Go green!" And they just look at you like,
Huh?
"You're not
Yeah,
a
you're
you're not
not.
a real fan." Trust me. It's like saying to a Buckeye, "OH," you know you're going to get an IO if they're a real fan. All right. So the question is, so here's the deal. The Raiders got some really young linebacker talent that they like a lot, a lot. In fact, I'm going to be talking about that. I don't know if it's going to be this week or next week because I'm going to start doing some position breakdowns on the podcast. But they really, really like and believe have a chance to be super special. They are looking to at every single position who can we trade for and get better. So when you give me one or two, I'm telling you they would trade and improve every one.
Mhm.
That's John Spytek. He's just never ever ever satisfied.
That's not necessarily a bad thing.
It's not bad.
Mhm.
It's kind of like in marriage. I think you and I have a great marriage.
But great's not good enough.
No, we are constantly going to work because we want it to be
Even better.
even
Mhm.
better, and that's John Spike. And Nick Saban says this, and we were just
Listening. Yeah.
that, yeah, we were just in the car, uh, listening on the phone to Nick, and Nick always says high achieving people hate mediocre people, and mediocre people hate high achieving people. High achieving people have one thing in common. They're always competing and trying to get better.
Mm-hmm.
You can hear a dog barking up there. He's
Who knows what she's
Salah's
thinking?
probably saying somebody's talking about Nick. But
Right.
anyways, that's the truth. And spy tech is never going to be happy. And in that,
Well, not necessarily happy,
because
satisfied.
I
Because
know
he's
he's very happy in
right,
his,
right, right.
but I mean, he's never going to be satisfied as a leader. There's always going
If
to
there's
be,
something more that
if
can be
if I
better.
can
Mm-hmm.
improve the Raiders here,
Mm-hmm.
there that is one thing I think, and I'm going to get into this more this week when we do position breakdowns. Is John Spytek comes from the group. If we can get better, we have to.
That's admirable.
Yeah.
It's
So
admirable any man.
I don't think it's I don't think it's one position, my friend. I think it could be any and go white.
Amen. All right. Hey, Uncle Hondo, of the 11 players selected in the draft, how many of those do you anticipate playing positions
Mm.
other than what Rayu played in college? Thank you, Tim K from Cumberland, Rhode Island.
First of all, my mother's from Rhode Island. She's from Providence, summered up in Hartford, but she's from Providence. So I love Rhode Island. Get a good grinder, man. And
Yeah.
if you're a Rhode Islander, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Go get a grinder with vinegar, extra cheese, and onion. Ooh, those are so good. And or brown bread in a can. I'm sure you remember that. Let me just say this: I I think you could see as maybe maybe four. The more I'm thinking, maybe four or five.
Okay.
And that's why they wanted this whole class is position versatility, lots of different stuff.
Ready? All right. Thank you. Tim K. All right, Hendo, good job on draft coverage. I'm interested in Raiders' thought process on quarterbacks. Would the Raiders have drafted Howard over Cam Miller if Howard was available in late sixth? Thank you, Dennis M. from Naples. I love Naples.
Yeah, we do love Naples, don't we?
Mhm.
Oh, beautiful down there. Great.
Muggy, I'm sure, this time of year, but beautiful.
We love it down there. If they were both on the board at 6, they would have taken Howard, yes. But there was not disappointment in getting Cam.
Right.
We're going to talk about Cam in a podcast coming up this week. I think you're going to really, I think he's the player in this draft Raider fans are sleeping on.
Mm,
I'm not predicting anything. But when you talk upside, nobody in this draft has his upside.
yeah, that's going to be good.
And for a 6th-round pick, that's a steal. They stole him. I know people had him graded higher. They stole him. We're going to do a whole podcast on him. I think people
That'll
are
be
going to,
interesting.
yeah,
Yeah.
people are going to be really
That'll
excited
be
about
good.
him.
All right. Good afternoon, Mr. Carpenter. You not listen long. Thank you for all of the insight you provide the nation with. The more I watch of Cam Miller, the more I see so much promise. My question is, how much influence did Brady have on that pick? Still blows my mind that the man who destroyed the Raiders will be the one to put us back on top.
Oh, that's pretty. That's almost prophetic.
P.S. might be the best draft I can remember in a long, long time. From Gerald T.
Hi, Gerald. Let me just say something to you. Mark Davis told us Tom Brady is going to be the guy in charge of picking the quarterback. So huge voice, huge.
Yeah. All right, dear Uncle Hondo, greetings from Mexico, Mexico.
Mexico.
We love Mexico.
We love me. Cabo. Ooh,
You want to go back?
we go to Cabo. We love it.
Ah, yeah.
We love Cabo.
That's our vacation spot for sure. I studied the film of D. Porter. It had a ton of blocked punts, open field tackles as a gunner, interceptions, and blocked passes. This kid is fast and smart. Do you agree he is going to make the roster and start some of the games? From Mike Chinchilla.
Now, I wonder if that's his last name or if that's his city.
It just says Mike Chinchilla.
Because I think there's a Chinchilla, Mexico.
I don't know.
I don't know. Let's ask.
Regardless,
Just a sec.
Google for everything.
Hey, Googles, is there a city in Mexico called Chinchilla?
No.
No city in Mexico, so Chinchilla must be as
Mike Chinchilla. Thank you for your question.
okay. Well,
Deep
oh yeah,
water.
yeah. I've already said this. I think he'll absolutely start games this year, and I think he is going to be a special teams. And I loved it when I talked to him after. Matter of fact, I told you about this. I talked to him right after the Raiders picked him, and he said, I'm ready to come in and play special teams. I'm ready to come in and play defense. He's just ready to come in and play football. And
the excitement's cool.
Yeah, I think I talked with John Spytek about this or Brandon Yergin. I talked to one of them. I don't remember who. May have been both about it as well. That's the mentality of guys they were picking. They just want football players, just football players. Just get me on the field anywhere you can get me on it. I just want to go hit some bullies.
Yeah, but that's really cool because that gets us people with that mentality will get the Raiders back to that mentality that the fans want them to get back to.
Remember when Matt was telling us about practices when he got there and just about how, it was just everybody wanted to play.
But that's so good.
Remember how he talked about everyone, you enjoyed all the drills, but scrimmaging.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what Porter. I'm excited about Porter. That's another underrated pick. That guy's he's got a lot of potential.
All right, next. Hey, Hondo.
And I'm going to add one more
Okay.
thing.
Okay.
I think the other thing that really helps this class is they're all kind of same mindset, different skill set. But this is a really good coaching staff too. He's going to get great coaching.
It's going to be an exciting
Pete
year.
put together a great
It's
coaching
going to
staff.
be a really exciting year. I'm excited for it.
All right, here we go.
Okay, Hondo, I have listened to and watched a lot of post-draft coverage. Much of the media, not you, keeps saying Brady this, Brady that, etc. Brady passed on Sanders 8 times. That has been bugging me because they are speaking as if Brady is the sole decision maker in the organization. I know he's got weight in the building, but was the decision to pass on Sanders or pass or pick any player more Brady than Spytek, Carroll, or Davis? I kind of don't think so. But what is the real deal? Todd A. in San Diego. And I am a season ticket holder.
Hi, Todd. Okay, so let me address this because I think it's a great question. By the way, I'm glad that you asked it. They came through and put the value of the draft board. So to say, did Tom Brady pass on Shador? Yes, because Tom is the one who had final authority on quarterbacks. And each time they selected, clearly there was somebody of more value there than Shador. It was not a you will not pick Shador. It's a here is what we value him at. And each time they picked going with BPA, there was somebody of a higher value there. So can you say that Tom Brady passed on him 8 times? Yeah, I think you can. That's fair. He's the owner. If he would have said we're taking Shador number one, they would have taken Shador number one. So do I think that's fair? Yes. But was it each time Tom Brady saying no? No. It's they'd established his value, and when it came time to pick, wherever they had him value, somebody else was there higher.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. Next, hey Hondo, you've talked about Green Bay signing Josh Jacobs and Nate Hobbs.
Just a minute. This question, I already know where it's going. You and I, when we're going through airports, how many people stop me and ask me about this one thing? This is all literally all the time. Go ahead, read it.
I'm gonna start back at the beginning. You've talked about Green Bay signing Josh Jacobs and Nate Hobbs with the belief that their strength and conditioning program would solve the multitude of injury issues that plague their time with the Raiders. I've been surprised to not hear about massive changes to that department, especially given Tom Brady's dedication to his body and nutrition throughout his career. I had assumed his TB12 program would become standard operating procedure. Do you think changes will be made to address the Raiders' deficiency in their program? Thanks as always, Chris R. from Baltimore, Maryland.
Chris, I would just say this to you. I'm not going to get into a bunch of detail here. My job is to take the information that I learned from NFL people and give it to you.
Exactly.
I do not have an opinion on the Raiders' strength and conditioning staff. I'm not in there. They don't work with me. So I can tell you that I have heard often from NFL people that they believe that is a weakness in the Raiders organization. I have heard from some within the Raiders that echo that sentiment. I have not heard it from all. I have not heard it from all in the least bit, but I have heard it from some.
Mhm.
Um, I think the best way to approach whether or not there'll be changes, wait and see.
That's fair.
Because I can't. I like every one of them. Good guys, really good guys. Just my job is to share what NFL people. Just like when I would share that Shador wasn't a first rounder, and people would crush me. Well, I was just sharing with people what NFL people said.
Right.
I made it clear all along. I love Shador,
Right.
and I'm going to tell you another one. I think the way he handled the prank call when he said, "Listen, I've done childish things. Everybody has. I forgive him. I appreciate him apologizing." That was such a. I was so proud of
That just shows character.
a character, and you know what? Yeah. So That's it. I would say just wait and see. Go ahead.
All right, Hondo, I have followed you for many years. I started when you were the only national media guy that had Tim Tebow going in the first round.
Boy, that was
It
a
was a
long
long
time
time
ago.
ago. And I saw you on Mike and Mike. While I was not a Raider fan, once you started covering them, I started simply because I love your coverage. Could you tell me
Thank you.
what you look at for the most when you scout offensive linemen? Tina A.
Tina, that is a great question. So the first thing I look at with offensive linemen is I watch their couple of things. I watch their ankles and I watch their hips.
Hmm.
Um, because if you get your ankle in front of you, you're going to go backwards. If you get them too far behind you, and you're driving, that's good. But how is your ankle moving? I watch that super, super close. In fact, if you watch, I have been told before by head coaches, I'd rather a guy blow out an ACL than break just break an ankle. And on the offensive line, not every position, but on the offensive line. Second, hips, their ability to move their hips. They have to be agile, mobile, and hostile. And so the hips. The third thing, and this may shock you, is vision.
I don't think that's shocking.
Well, but I'm going to tell you why. Because as an offensive lineman, I have to keep I watch your between the bottom of your breast area and the belly button right there. What is that bone right there? You always
Your sternum.
no, that bone that sticks out on me
Xiphoid process.
right here.
Yeah, it's called the xiphoid process.
Okay,
It's called the xiphoid process.
whatever it is. She's a nurse. I'm an idiot. She's a nurse. But right there at that middle
Mhm.
spot, because defensive linemen will bend and juke, but that part is always going to tell me where you're going. So I watch it. Now, you may say, well, what about strength and size? Okay, that's a given. You just said, what do I look at when I look at offensive linemen? So if they're already an offensive lineman, I'm assuming strength and size. You can't teach 6'9".
Right.
You can't teach 375 pounds.
Right.
So assuming all of the physical, I look at ankles, hips, and vision. Those are all really big. Now, obviously, length of arms plays some part into it, but they asked me first. So the first thing I'm watching when I put in film is ankles. Okay. Watch JPJ. When you watch Jackson Powers Johnson, his ankle movement is excellent.
Okay.
I mean, just the way he always seems to have his ankles in the perfect spot. Matter of fact, y'all can go back and find it. The video's up. I did an interview with him last year and said, I did not realize how good your movement was. And he kind of laughed because only offensive line junkies even
Notice that.
notice that.
Right.
And and okay, hips. Colton Miller's hips. When he's healthy, his ability just to swivel and yet not move,
Just moves the hips,
move without moving.
course.
Phenomenal. And then vision. I mean, again, I go back to JPJ, Colton when he's healthy, even Delmar DJ Glaze, the mule. He's got really, really good vision. There's just those type of qualities you can't teach. Now, this young kid, Grant, coming in from William and Mary, turn on his ankles. That young man now, he can play some football. Now he's got to get coached up better. And Joe, who better? Can you imagine? You're going from William and Mary to Joe Philbin. Joe freaking Philbin. Any offensive lineman would give a big sacrifice to be able to be coached by Joe. It's like every guy who watches this podcast is like, oh my gosh, I would love to be married to Shannon. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? I mean, you're an offensive lineman and you just got picked by the Raiders. You're like, wait a minute, who's the offensive lineman? Joe Philbin. Yes. So just that, those are the kind of things. Sorry, I get excited when I start talking off. I start talking offensive lineman. It's like, all right, let's go.
Yep. Okay, Hendo, I appreciate the integrous way you cover the team. Thank you. Here's a question. If you could point your finger to one thing about Tom Brady that makes you believe that he can win as an owner, when many great players who become owners fail, what would that be? From Connor T.
Wow. So let me just say this. Tom Brady spoke at the Patrick Bet David conference last year. He was a guest speaker at it.
Okay.
Go find that speech. It was Tom Brady at the Patrick Bet David conference. It was phenomenal. It was it was Tom Brady as genuine. Now, one thing I admire about him is Tom is very genuine.
Genuine.
And you know that you and I love that. You and I love genuine people.
For sure.
And we respect that. And so Tom is extremely genuine. Um, but what I would say to you is at that Patrick Bet David conference, Tom Brady talked about he learned far more from his failures than his wins.
Hmm.
Now, it's easy to say when you hardly lost,
Yeah.
but that tells you about his character.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah, for
so,
sure.
I mean, I'm going to tell you right now, everybody thinks the most important thing in Tom Brady's life is football, and you would be 100% wrong. It's close to the top. It's second, but his family, his mom and dad, his siblings, and his children are number one. And I can relate to that. You guys are number two in my life. But I mean, and then football. And so, but he talked about winning, that he learned more from losing. And I think in losing, he learned nobody was ever as committed as Tom. And, he was Mr. Famous. He's doing commercials, always grinded, always wanted extra thing. And I think the way it helps prepare him as an owner is he also learned because he studied everybody what not to do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's think about this real quick. How many times have we said to our children, we want you to learn from where we failed so
Failed.
you know what
Mm-hmm.
not to do?
Mm-hmm.
I say this to dad. One of the greatest things my father ever did was he brought his sons in on his failures.
Which is really good because too many
Mhm.
times people will say that, but then kids are like, well, or anybody wants to say, well, I just want to learn on my own. But what as your dad bringing you in on the
Mhm.
failures when you see it from the beginning, then you're like, yeah, I don't want to do that.
I remember him coming to me early as a young man. I was probably 23 and saying to me, I see you headed somewhere where I made a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
And he shared what he had done wrong and goes, I think you're headed close to this. And
Yeah,
man,
that's good.
it made me pull back the reins and
Double
tap.
think it.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I think Tom Brady, because remember, I shared with you all, I don't know if it was last week or a couple, I think it was last week in this 3-part series I did about Tom knew everybody's role. I shared a story. Tom's at training camp, and obviously he's the number one offense,
Mm-hmm.
best player. And a third string defensive tackle did something, and he's coming off the field, and Tom's screaming at him what he did wrong. Well, he's the number one quarterback, and he's coaching the third string defensive tackle. Most quarterbacks don't even know that guy's job.
Right, right.
And so Tom studied everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think there are probably things he learned from Bob Kraft, who's a great owner,
Right.
on what not to do. And I think that's another reason why I think he's going to be great.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, Aunt Shannon.
You got a question?
I did last time too. Since you are a Raider fan, who is your favorite Raider and why? Nelson B. Well, Nelson, I can tell you this. My favorite, without a doubt and without hesitation, is going to be Matt Millen. Not only is he a great friend, and when I say great, let me emphasize the word great.
We genuinely love Matt.
Him. Mhm.
We love him.
For sure. So that answers the who, but the why. Um, he is the person who I would say is definitely one of my husband's very best friends. He is somebody who has a
I,
large,
I, I don't, let's go back and tap that break for a minute. I, I don't know that that it's fair to say one of. I just think it's important to say it's important to have friends that you look up to.
Yes. Yes.
And I do him. I remember telling him after he survived his heart transplant. I remember texting him before he went into surgery. And I won't share what we talked about, it was private, but I just telling him how much I loved him and what he meant to me. And I remember the first time I physically saw him after his surgery and just told him, I didn't know if I was ever going to get to hug him outside of heaven,
Mm-hmm.
outside of heaven. And what a godly man, a tremendous father, great husband, great football player, and what a godly man. And he certainly likes you more than me.
Well, and that has nothing to do with why he is my favorite, but he is I mean, when I say favorite, he's a man of immense integrity. He has character on which any man could look up to and follow.
Mhm.
He has God in his corner at all times. He is an amazing man.
And he's awesome at godly advice. Do you
Yes.
remember the time the Indiana press? I mean, I think it was no, it was the Wisconsin press box,
Yes.
and somebody said to him, "Let's pray about it."
Yeah.
Okay, we did.
Yeah. So but when we were there before and after his heart surgery, we knew all the ins and outs, and he's an amazing man,
Yeah.
inside and out. And
Who
with Matt,
loves the Raiders?
yes, he does, and he's very loyal. But with Matt, what you see is what you get, and he is devoted to family. Um, and I could not say enough things about him. I'll never forget the first time that I met him in Chicago. He's an amazing man, and so he will forever be my favorite Raider.
Yeah.
For sure.
And again, most important thing in his life is Christ.
It's Christ.
Second thing
Absolutely.
is family. I
Absolutely.
remember
And that's admirable, by
I'll,
the way.
so he most people don't know this. He's a carpenter. He loves to build things. He's got this
Mhm.
amazing shop at his house in Pennsylvania. It's incredible. Most professional woodworkers would give anything for his shop on his at his house. And I think it was our son Shane, but one of them needed like a really nice bookcase. And he goes, well, let's just ask and see if Matt will build it. And Matt's like, and he had just he's like, yeah, I'll build it. Just send me the dimensions. No, I'm not going to have you build it. So I'm going to drive to Pennsylvania and pick it up. But he was like, no, I'll just build it. I mean, he is, when people ask me what's Matt Millen really like, what you see is what you get.
For sure.
As
Mhm.
passionate of a football player, he's as passionate as love for the Lord, passionate in his love for his family. He's just a passionate person.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a great
Very
question.
integrous man. He's amazing. We love Matt Millen in
Love
our
him.
house.
I would do anything in the world for him.
Yeah, he's a pretty special guy.
Yep.
All right, next, Hondo. I have heard you passionately talk about play action passes, but can you explain why you are so passionate about them? Ruth G.
Ruth, let me go back and say this. The play action pass in the offensive side of football is my Shannon in football. In football.
Okay.
Okay. I passionately love you. And when it comes to the offensive side of the ball, I passionately love the play action pass because the play action pass does a lot. It freezes linebackers so they can't come in and just stuff the holes.
Okay.
So you put 8 and 9 men in the box. And so it opens the running game because you can't win without a running game. And yet, if you're running it good, they almost sneak up so then you can throw it over them. I love play action pass opens everything up. We were in church yesterday and the pastor was talking about hell in a funny way. And not that hell is funny, and we're not making fun of hell, but and he talked about um can marrying the white woman get you to heaven? And he goes, well, I don't know that. He says, but I do know marrying the wrong one can make you feel like you're living in hell on earth. And that we both cried. The whole building cracked up laughing. It was really funny. But I can just tell you this: the play action pass sets up an offense, and I know that defenses hate it.
Mm.
A well executed. I cannot tell you how many defensive coaches have said to us, "Oh man, they are so good with the play action pass. It's horrible." That is one thing that Jim Harbaugh's offenses do so well is the play action pass. And I mean everywhere he's been, once he got the team rolling, um, it looked at San Francisco, Brock Purdy, and look at Tom Brady when the Patriots were at their. Remember when he was with Tampa?
Right.
The play action pass is a thing of beauty on the offensive side of the ball. It is the offensive football equivalent to Shannon as a wife. Go ahead.
Hondo, do you think the Raiders are a playoff team in 2025? From Victor A.
I don't know that yet. Stay tuned. Um, I don't know yet. I haven't done my deep dive analysis of the other three teams. I know the other three AFC West teams were in 2024. I haven't done enough study. I think they're going to be much improved. I think Geno Smith alone, if they would have kept the same team and just brought Geno back, they're a significantly better team. But they've added a ton of really, really good talent. I don't know yet. And I'm going to wait on that one. So it's a good question. Ask me again. Ask me after. Well, the schedule comes out later this month. So I've got to give my original prediction, but I really don't. But remember, I nailed mine in last year, and then training camp,
I
hell
know.
broke loose. Ooh, that was brutal. Yeah, but I don't know right now. I certainly think they're much improved. I don't know that I'm willing to say because I have to look around the AFC and see how improved everyone else is because other teams got better too, and I think some got worse. Good.
Okay. The next one is from Jean E. And it is not a question and it is hate mail. So, what I am going to tell you is I'm not going to read it because we
Oh
don't need your negativity.
no, read it. If it got on the list, read it. Just read it. I don't care.
I do.
Please, if it got on the list, read it.
Hey,
Baby, we do get hate mail. So
hey, well,
it
Jean, I
just
don't like you very well. So
oh,
there you
that's
go.
not true. That's not true.
You wait till you hear this. I'm okay.
Shannon, I get
I'm
plenty of hate mail.
defending my husband. I think we should skip over this. Okay,
Don't.
you're not my favorite person, but I'll read it because my husband said, I love you.
I love you too. Go. Come on.
Hondo, hate is not a strong enough word to how I feel about you. I'm telling you, this is not appropriate. Your
Was
excess.
this written by your mother?
No,
Oh, I'm just kidding. I love my mother-in-law. She's beautiful. And I'm just picking on. I'm just trying to be funny. Babe, you got to laugh.
no, I'm ticked. I don't like this. I'm ready to skip it.
Just go.
Your excessive positivity and fat, ugly face, which she doesn't have a fat, ugly face, makes me want to puke. Well, I hope you go barf.
Oh,
I will never be happier as a Raider fan until you are dead. Well, he's not going to die for a very long time. I will and you are no longer covering my team. You're the worst. You are wasting oxygen each time your fat face takes a breath. Disagree. Thank you, Gene. Bye-bye.
okay. So no,
Next.
no, no, no. I'm going to address that for a minute.
I don't
I think Gene, it must be a wonderful person.
He must be hurting on the inside
Must
after
really
attack
be
somebody.
hurting. You know what? Gene, Shannon and I are going to make it a point. We're going to pray for Gene every day for the next 7 days.
Okay.
And you know what? Listen,
I can do that.
I will take all the heat as long as you're being kind to the people around you. And you know what? You're probably just having a bad day. Probably needs a hug.
Maybe.
Just needs a
Not for me.
not from you. But you know what, Gene? I'll tell you what. I'm so sorry that I make you that miserable. And let me just give you a wonderful piece of advice. If I make you that miserable, there is a button
Mm,
that you can turn me off on.
yeah.
Don't
He
have
doesn't
to.
have to listen.
No, you don't have to listen. Nobody's making you. And you know what? There are some people that I'm probably not as fond of as others, and I just don't listen to them and read them. But
I'm fond of you.
oh, stop. But the point is that if you, I just hope you keep listening
Yeah. Great.
But we're not going to attack you. And you know what? I want you to know that I appreciate you. The fact that you listen is important. Thank you. And I'll continue to do my very best and hope at some point that that is good enough, that I get good enough to earn your respect.
Okay, well, I'm still going to defend her.
You don't need to defend me. I'm fine.
I
Thank
will
you.
pray
And
for
you
you.
know what? But let's give Gene credit. Okay. How much hate mail do I get from people
A lot.
that don't give their real name?
Oh, yeah, all the time.
You know, those are the scumbags that send you from an anonymous,
Mm-hmm.
you know, he put his name on it. And you know what? I can live with that. And nobody likes to hear that stuff, but he put his name on it and I can live with, oh, stop. I can live with that.
Okay, you're covering my Raiders too, and I'll listen to you every day of the week.
Okay.
Okay, next. Hando, my son wants to be a sports writer. Do you have any advice? He is going to attend Fresno State in the fall and loves you, the Raiders, and of course, we watch the pod every day from Pat L.
Well, thank you, Pat. I appreciate you watching. I've got some great advice for you. And it's advice that my father would give when he would go in and speak to college students about business. I'll never forget listening to my dad speak at a business class at a university. And it's the best piece of advice on business my dad ever gave his sons. And it was every business is a people business.
Mm.
And Shannon's a nurse. I'm a journalist. It doesn't matter if you what you do for a living. I don't care if your job is. We like that TV show. Uh, it's not called Deep Freeze, but it's the show about the people up in Alaska. Life Below Zero, I think is the name of the show. We like the
Okay.
show, and there's a lady on there. I just can't remember her name. I wish we could, but she lives on this remote airstrip by herself. And everyone's like, she has to
That's
keep this
crazy.
airstrip for people to land and get fuel. And but what I would tell you is every business you get into is a people business.
Mm-hmm.
And how many people do we know that we've become great friends with over the years who started out at, oh, I'll give you an example. One very successful NFL coach we became friends with as a grad assistant, which a grad assistant is the lowest place on the totem pole in a college football program.
It's a start.
And I remember one day it's pouring rain. He's living in a dorm. He's walking in a pouring rain towards a football practice. And I stopped my car and I let him in. He's like, Mr. Carpenter, I love watching you on TV. I love I can't believe you stopped. What'd you stop for? Well, you're going to practice, right? Yeah, I'm going to practice. And I had a very nice parking spot. The program was very good to me. And he's like, man, I never get to park in this lot. I'm not even allowed to have a car on campus. And we just stayed friends. And so what I would tell you is every business is a people business and treat people well.
Mm-hmm.
And I have never said to Shannon, boy, we should be good to this person. They may be a source.
No, people are nurses.
We care about people.
Mm-hmm.
We genuinely care about people. And so over the years, then, as they have crawled up the ladder, they have known, hey, this guy was sincere. He was good to me when I was nothing. I can trust him. And so I would just tell you, every business is a people business. Be good to people. You know, it's just like the last email with Gene. Okay, you know what? For somebody to write something that vitriolic, they must have a very sad life,
It's true.
but yet they still watch.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? What do I gain vitriolically responding to that?
Nothing.
But for somebody to write that, they must be in a pretty bad spot.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe seeing somebody respond in love
Fair enough. Yeah.
is you know. And so we it's just like I'll get people all the time, why your podcast so long? Don't listen.
Mhm.
Or you know, whatever. I why do I go to Lot J? Because I want to meet fans. You guys are the reason that I get to do this. I don't have to do this. I get to.
Mhm.
I mean, think about this, Shannon. I am a beat writer covering the Las Vegas Raiders, one of the most iconic professional sports teams in the world.
Right.
That's an honor.
Right. For sure.
I'm not entitled to that.
Mhm.
And so just remember everything is a people business. Treat people right. I see a lot of young journalists who so badly want the story they'll get it wrong to be first, or they'll burn a source.
Mm.
Think
Yeah.
about this one. And
Mhm.
you can bring some perspective to this. How many meals with people? How many phone calls? Thousands of them have you heard? If and I maybe report 1%, maybe 2 of what we know,
Mhm.
but it's not worth burning someone.
Right. Right.
And if somebody tells you something off the record,
It remains off the record.
there have been times I could have defended myself to criticism, but it was stuff I was told off the record. And so you just take the criticism and you keep your mouth shut and you don't burn people.
That's how you build integrity.
Yeah,
Makes you an integrous person by doing that.
yeah. So I would just tell him, no matter what he goes into,
Mhm.
this would be my advice to anyone in any business. Every business is a people business. If
Mm.
you're working a derrick in a Texas oil field or up in North Dakota or in Colorado, you may say, well, I'm out here on the derrick. It's a people business.
For sure.
You're a nurse. It's a
Mhm.
people business.
Oh, absolutely. Mhm.
It's a people business. So, hang on.
Not football.
Oh, warning, warning, warning. This is the end of our football. We have one email that we do every week. This one's not football. So if you don't want to talk football, turn the podcast off. All right, what is it?
All right. And there's actually, I think there might be two.
Oh, two non-footballs.
Yes. First, Aunt Shannon, I love the way Hondo talks about you, and I watch the podcast with my husband, and it is fun because I am not understanding much about football, but I love how your husband brags on you and teaches football. Our daughter Olivia is going to be a nurse, and Hondo says you are highly sought after and respected. We are all Raiders fans, and she and I were talking, and I told her I would email Hondo and see if you could email us back with some advice. Thank you, Sarah O. I'm going to tell you there's two pieces of advice for your daughter. First of all, um, we need good nurses because too many people go into that today thinking that, oh, I'm going to be a nurse because I want to make a lot of money. That's your first mistake. It's not about making money. Going back to what he said in the last thing, it is a people business. Um, you become a nurse because you're called to be a nurse, because you're called to help people. Number one. Number two, um, always have the mentality no matter where you work. I have worked in many, many different settings. I've been a pediatric nurse, I've been a home health care nurse, I've taken care of just wounds, I have done been in an eating disorder clinic, you name it, I've done it. I've been a nurse for 30 years this month. But the biggest piece of advice I can get you is sort of twofold. Number one, um, it's not about being book smart, it's about hands-on experience. And don't think that you're going to practice new age and take a bunch of shortcuts, because that's not what it's about. It's about being there hands-on and learning. Number one. Number two, no matter where you work, you need to have the mentality. So I work in a long-term care facility and rehab facility right now. You have to have the mentality, I work where they live. They don't live where I work. Yes, it is a job, but you have to put people first, not yourself. Because if you put yourself first, you will always be miserable. You'll always find yourself complaining. You're going to always find yourself either seeking for another job. It doesn't matter what you do, you're not going to be happy. You have to have a mentality of you need to be a servant. Nurses are called to serve. So you need to have a mentality of serving people. Congratulations, you're going to do fantastic. And it's not about, yes, it does take good grades, obviously, to pass, but it's not textbook. And you're going to know when you get to that floor for the first day, everything textbook goes away. It's all hands on. And that's okay. And you're going to love it because when you love people, you're going to be fantastic.
Mhm.
Congratulations. I'm proud of you. That's awesome.
You can't fake loving people.
No.
You either love people or you don't.
For sure. And you're going to go away some days laughing and you're going to go away some days crying because you're going to experience every emotion in every shift every time you work.
Mhm.
And last night, what I worked last night, I worked yesterday a 12-hour shift and I came home and I had the most hilarious stories to share with my husband. And there are some days that I come home and I'm like, I just don't want to talk about it. I had a bad day and I would rather just cry myself to sleep. But guess what? The sun rises every morning and it's a new day, and God's mercies are new every single morning. And you're going to go right back at it, no matter if you've had
Mhm.
8 hours of sleep or 2 hours of sleep. You're going to go back at it because it was what you were called to do.
And the funny thing is when I have seen you at your most distraught, it's usually when you see patients whose maybe their family doesn't treat them right.
Oh, yeah, that's very difficult.
That is
Mm,
when you say it, because I don't want to give the impression you come home, I don't want to talk it was a bad day. I've seen her come home and just say, honey, I, I want you to pray with me for this patient.
mhm.
And she doesn't, you have that hippopotamus oath or the hip.
It's HIPAA. It's called HIPAA. It's a HIPAA
So she
privacy.
she doesn't tell me anything about the patient, but she'll just say, "Oh, my heart breaks for this patient."
Mhm.
I remember one, yeah, I just
You're going to run into a lot. You're going to see things that's going to be jaw dropping. And you're like, I cannot believe that just came out of that family member's mouth. But
I
you'd
remember one
smile.
time you told me that this person is alive but dying,
Mhm.
and the family was arguing about who got what.
Yes. Or is there any way you can speed up the process and make him die faster so that we can get a move on? Like, excuse me? Like,
And in
it's
the
very
interest of full
difficult.
disclosure, not where you're at now,
Right. No, no, no.
but
But it's
I
hard. It
but
can
I
be
I
hard.
literally remember you that one in particular, you came home and I just you literally said to me, "Can I just crawl in your lap? I just want to cry."
That's hard. Support system is huge. And I'm going to tell you this too. And a lot of people don't understand because they're not a nurse what it's like to be a nurse. So you have to have a support system. And my husband is fantastic. I'll come home and I'm like, I don't need you to fix this. I just need you to listen. Or just trust me when I just need sleep or whatever. A support system is huge. And it sounds like your parents are super proud of you for becoming a nurse. So they're going to be there for you. And that's awesome.
Mhm. Right? You
Fantastic.
said there were 2?
Yeah, the next one. Hondo and Shannon, my wife and I are considering adoption. Oh, fantastic. It
God
was never
bless you.
an option we thought about until you all and Dexter. It is hard. Is it harder than natural childbirth? I know you have both. Advice, please. Kaylin and Liana T.
Alright, so first let me tell you, is it harder? Some of it is,
Mhm,
some of it's a lot easier.
mhm. It's different.
Uh-huh.
It's just different.
But I'm gonna tell you right now, and let me just tell you, until you go through it, you will never believe this. We absolutely love Dexter. We could not love Dexter
And
anymore if he had come from our bodies.
right. And we make that mistake a lot, thinking because he's actually really like us.
He
Oh, in a lot of ways. I'm Czechoslovakian, and sometimes Hando's like, Jeepers, he's Czech just like you. And I'm like, yeah, well, he's not blood. And there's so many things I'm like, are you sure he did not come from you, Hando? Because he acts just like you.
he
It's hilarious.
he
It's,
does.
it's fantastic.
So let me just say this, it's going to be a great journey. Um, Absolutely, it is going to be so rewarding. I do know of that there are things to it that are more trying down the road. But I will just say this to you, it is a great thing. You are absolutely going to love it. Um, I wish our government
Mm.
would put aside Republican and Democrat and all
Mhm.
that stupidity. We say it all the time. It's
Mhm.
time for people to quit being Republicans and Democrats and
And
start
just
being
because
be
American.
Americans.
Mhm.
I think there's a lot we could do to make adoption more accessible. And
A smoother experience.
yes, that the hardest part, when you have a child naturally, making it's awesome. And, the pregnancy is awesome. That's fun.
It's fun to be pregnant.
Childbirth,
It hurts, but who
yeah,
cares? It's so rewarding.
okay. The adoption process is very difficult. To me, it's much harder than the everything from, you know, consummation up until delivery. I think all of the adoption period is significantly harder. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
And so that is much harder. And I almost think it's so much harder that once the adoption's done, it's almost an even bigger relief than natural childbirth.
Oh, for sure.
Mm, that's a
For
brutal,
sure.
brutal process. But so what I would just say to you is that it's difficult, but it's incredibly rewarding. And if you think for 2 seconds
Hmm.
you're ever not going to be able to love that child,
That's just crazy.
you ain't got a clue. It's a natural concern.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yes.
So
And
don't
a
feel
lot of
don't
people have said that to us. Like, absolutely. It
but
is a natural concern.
and I and our kids all love him.
Hmm. I don't know that you and I ever thought that. We were so excited. We never
Yeah,
thought,
I don't think we were ever concerned, but how many people have come to us?
oh, tons, 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 tons. And I'm gonna say they almost feel like I don't know if guilt is the right word. Is it okay to love this kid as much as I do my natural kids? Do I have enough love for an adopted kid because he didn't come from my body?
I wonder this though. I wonder if for us it was not like that because about 2, 3 years, see, we adopted Dexter in 23.
His adoption was final in 23. He was born in 22.
Right. So about 2.5 years before Dexter was even an option. I mean, he
Mhm.
hadn't even been conceived. God began dealing with our heart about adoption.
Separately too. It
Yeah.
wasn't even.
And then one day I said to Shannon, in my prayer time, I just felt like I needed to throw this out there. And
Mhm.
she's like, oh my gosh, the Lord's been kind of speaking to my heart. No, we're not saying audible voice. It's just
Right. It's like, okay,
so
yep.
I maybe for us, because our heart was prepared for it, maybe that's why we didn't experience that because so many people ask us, are we going to be able to love that baby? Trust me. Trust me. Children are a blessing from the Lord,
Mhm.
however you get them,
Oh, for sure. And
however you get them.
mhm. Yeah. Yep. And it can be hard. We have I know somebody who's going through it right now
Yeah, we have a friend going through an adoptive process right now.
who has called many times saying, "Hey, what did you do here? What did you do here? What is my next step?"
Matter of fact, I think that baby may even have been born while we're doing this pod. Wasn't it? The baby's supposed to be
It's
born.
due anytime.
Yeah, so
Yep.
literally,
Due anytime. And they found out a week ago that they were going to get this baby and it's a private adoption. And you know what? It like he said, it doesn't matter how you get them. Children are a blessing from the Lord. But the cool part is that I'm so excited for Dexter when he grows up is it's definitely harder to go through that process than it is natural childbirth, but I could not love him anymore as if he came from my own body. And his siblings love him so much. And it's so exciting because there's a story behind Dexter. And to be able to look him in the eye and tell him we chose him
mhm.
and he's the biggest blessing. I literally have no words. And unless you have adopted, you you just can't say.
Children can be cruel. And one day there will be kids because we don't hide
Oh, yeah.
we don't hide that he's
Yes.
adopted because there's nothing to hide. It was not
Exactly.
shameful.
Exactly.
And I cannot wait one day
Yes.
when he says, "Dad, these kids are picking on me because he's not big like me." So
Yeah, he's a little guy, but
but
whoa, who cares?
but when he dad, these kids are picking on me because I'm adopted. I'm going to go back and tell them. You go back and tell those kids when they were born, their
Parents
parents were
were stuck
stuck
with
with them.
them.
We picked you.
Amen.
And man, I love that. And you know what? Let me just tell you, we're going to be praying for you. And it's a great thing to adopt. And it is, you're going to hear people say to you, what a wonderful thing you did for that baby. But until you've been through adoption, you will not understand this. We get told that all the time. Oh, what a great thing you guys did for Dexter. We're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Dexter's done more for us than
Yes,
we
we
ever
ever
have done
did
for
for
him.
him. We did not know we needed a Dexter
Oh,
Ernest Wayne, but we needed him more than he needed us.
mhm. And not in a bad way.
No.
It just we needed him. I can't imagine life without
Oh
him.
my gosh, no.
He is our little buddy.
He's so, oh my gosh. Every minute of every day is a joy with that kid.
We bought him,
He's
and
funnier than I'll get out.
yesterday after church we stopped at the store, and he just grabs this Nerf sword and starts beating me up. Typical boy, beating daddy up, and Shannon's like, "Oh, you can have that." And he's great. We love him dearly, and I love it. He's just excited. The Amazon guy. This tells you how much money Shannon spends on Amazon. Every time he'll go, "Mamazon, Mamazon,"
Can't help
and he
it.
goes out and says hi to the Amazon guy. He knows the Amazon guy. Or as soon as even if we're driving near church and it's not Sunday or church, a day we're going to church,
Go
church,
this way.
church,
Yeah, go
church,
this way.
church,
Church.
church, church. And I mean, or his brothers, Travis, Noah.
Shade.
Yeah, I was going to say the other word he calls
Oh,
Shane, but
yeah, not
that'll
here.
really fuel my critics. But anyways, all right. So there you go, everybody. Appreciate your emails. Thank you so much for sending them in. Talk to you all soon. Don't forget, we're going to be breaking on the Raider position groups. We're going to talk a lot about Cam Miller. A lot of great stuff coming this week for you on the podcast. So thanks for joining us, everybody. We appreciate you.